The world is not as it once was. Men are told to be less strong, less assertive, less decisive. Our fathers and grandfathers built civilizations, they fought wars, they provided. Now these virtues are seen as toxic, weakness is celebrated, men are told their strength is a threat, their protectiveness a form of control, their very nature something to be ashamed of. But this is a lie, a dangerous lie. We are at a crossroads. Down one path lies chaos and societal collapse. Down the other a return to order, to strength, to true masculinity. The choice is ours. There's a war being waged, a war on masculinity itself. This isn't about men's rights or female oppression. This is about the very fabric of society. Powerful forces are working to dismantle traditional masculinity. They control the media, the education system, even our governments. Why? Because strong men are harder to control. Look around you. Men are demonized in movies and TV shows. Boys are taught to be ashamed of their natural instincts. The very traits that built civilizations are now seen as archaic and harmful. This social experiment is failing. Families are breaking down, men are lost and adrift, and society is paying the price. It's time to stand up and fight back. Who are these puppet masters pulling the strings? Some call them global elites, others, the powers that be. Regardless of the name, their agenda is clear control, and they know they can't control a society of strong, independent men. They use fear and shame to keep men in line. They tell us that our strength is dangerous, that our ambition is toxic, that our very nature is something to be suppressed. They want us weak, docile, and easily manipulated. They infiltrate our institutions from education to entertainment. They distort history, rewrite biology, and redefine what it means to be a man. And slowly but surely, they're succeeding. Boys are growing up confused and lost. They lack strong male role models. They're told that masculinity is a disease. Is it any wonder that so many are failing in school, turning to drugs, and ending up in prison? Turn on the television, open a magazine, or browse the internet. You'll see the same tired tropes repeated ad nauseum: the bumbling father, the emotionally stunted husband, the aggressive, power-hungry businessman. The media loves to paint men as the problem. They blame us for everything from violence to climate change. They tell us to check our privilege, to apologize for our existence, to simply get out of the way. Meanwhile, women are portrayed as strong, independent, and always right. Men are told to celebrate this supposed empowerment, even as it comes at our expense. We're told that equality means sameness, that any difference between men and women is a product of social conditioning. This is not journalism, this is propaganda, and it's having a devastating effect on our society. The war on masculinity is taking its toll. Men are suffering. We're more likely to be depressed, addicted, and suicidal. We're less likely to graduate from college, find meaningful work, or start families. Families are falling apart. Children are growing up without fathers. Women are left to navigate the challenges of life without the support of strong, capable men. Society is becoming increasingly unstable. We see a rise in crime, violence, and social unrest. Without strong men to lead, protect, and provide, chaos reigns. This is the price of weakness. This is what happens when we allow ourselves to be emasculated, marginalized, and silenced. But there is hope. We can fight back. We can reclaim our birthright. We can be strong men again. The rise of modern feminism, while well-intentioned, has created an imbalance. The scales have tipped too far. Instead of striving for true equality, equal opportunity, mutual respect, a dangerous narrative has taken hold. Men are now often viewed through the lens of suspicion, their actions scrutinized for any hint of perceived oppression. This is not equality. This is resentment disguised as progress. The result? A growing chasm between men and women. We're told we're engaged in a battle of the sexes, when in reality we need each other more than ever. We are meant to complement, not compete. We are two sides of the same coin, each with our own unique strengths and weaknesses. Ignoring this fundamental truth only leads to further division and pain. Some elements within the feminist movement have gone astray. They've abandoned the pursuit of equality and embraced a dangerous ideology that demonizes men and masculinity itself. Boys are now taught that their natural instincts, their desire for competition, risk-taking, and physicality are somehow wrong, even dangerous. But these are not flaws. These are the very traits that have driven humanity forward for millennia. This misguided crusade against masculinity is creating a generation of men who are afraid to be men. They're afraid to lead, to protect, to provide. And society is suffering as a result. This is not about turning back the clock on women's rights. This is about finding a path forward that honors and respects both genders. recognizing that true equality benefits us all. The marginalization of men is real, and it's having a devastating impact. Men are dropping out of school, losing their jobs, and taking their own lives at alarming rates. Why are these trends ignored? Why is it considered taboo to talk about the challenges facing men? We are told to man up, to suppress our emotions, to suffer in silence. This silence is deadly. Men need support, guidance, and mentorship just as much as women do. We need to create spaces where men can be vulnerable, where they can express themselves without fear of judgment or ridicule. We need to recognize that true strength lies not in denying our struggles, but in confronting them head-on, with courage and compassion. When men retreat from their roles as leaders, protectors, and providers, society as a whole suffers. Families break down, communities crumble, chaos takes hold. Children, especially boys, need positive male role models. They need fathers, mentors, and coaches who can teach them what it means to be a good man in today's world. These role models are essential for teaching boys responsibility, discipline, and compassion. They provide the guidance and support that boys need to navigate the challenges of adolescence and manhood. It's time to reclaim the positive aspects of masculinity, to remember that strength, courage, and compassion are not toxic traits, but essential virtues that benefit us all. True strength isn't about aggression. It's not about dominating others or suppressing your emotions. It's about discipline, integrity, and self-mastery. It's about pushing yourself to be your best, both physically and mentally. It's about taking responsibility for your actions and your life. It's about being a protector, a provider, and a leader. Society needs men who are willing to step up and lead. Men who are confident in their abilities and unafraid to use their strength for good. Men who understand that true power comes from within. This isn't about returning to some outdated, patriarchal model of masculinity. This is about embracing the timeless virtues that have always defined true manhood. Virtues like courage, honor, and self-sacrifice. Section 2. The antidote to toxicity. The red pill mentality offers a distorted view of masculinity. It breeds resentment, anger, and a sense of victimhood. It tells men that they're engaged in a zero-sum game with women, that any attempt at equality is an attack on their manhood. True masculinity is the antidote to this toxicity. It's about building each other up, not tearing each other down. It's about recognizing that men and women need each other, that we're stronger together than we are apart. It's about rejecting the false dichotomy of alpha and beta males. There's no need to dominate or control others to feel like a man. True strength comes from within, from knowing who you are and what you stand for. It's about using your strength to protect the vulnerable, to stand up for what's right, and to make the world a better place. It's about being a force for good in a world that desperately needs it. Section 3. Building a better world. When men embrace their true strength, they become pillars of their communities. They become the fathers, husbands, and leaders that society needs to thrive. They create a world where everyone benefits, both men and women. Imagine a world where boys are raised to be confident, compassionate, and responsible, where they're taught to value strength and integrity, but also empathy and kindness. Imagine a world where men and women work together as equals, respecting each other's differences and celebrating their shared humanity. A world where true partnership replaces the tired old script of conflict and resentment. This is the world we can create when men reclaim their true strength. It's a world worth fighting for, a world where everyone can reach their full potential. Section 1. The dance of duality, masculine and feminine, two halves of a whole. Not in opposition, but in perfect balance. This is the natural order, the dance of duality that breathes life into the world. We are not meant to be the same. Our differences are not a threat, but a source of strength. Men, with our drive to build and protect. Women with their nurturing touch and intuitive wisdom. When we deny these differences, we deny a fundamental truth of our existence. We weaken ourselves. We starve the world of the unique gifts each gender brings. This is not about superiority, but about synergy, about recognizing that our differences are not a source of conflict, but the very foundation of a thriving society. True strength lies not in domination, but in partnership. When men and women work together, leveraging their unique strengths, we unlock unimaginable potential. Think of the great partnerships throughout history. Couples, colleagues, collaborators who achieved greatness by embracing their differences, not in spite of them. In the workplace, in the home, In the community, men and women working together create solutions, build bridges, and foster understanding. This is not about one gender propping up the other, but about mutual respect, support, and a shared vision for a better future. The old paradigm of male dominance is crumbling, and rightfully so. But equality is not about tearing down one gender to elevate the other. It's about creating a world where everyone can thrive. We must teach our sons and daughters that their worth is not determined by their gender, but by their character, their actions, and their contributions to the world. This is the path to true harmony. A world where men and women celebrate their differences, support each other's strengths, and work together to build a brighter future for all. This is the world we are fighting for. A world where the masculine and feminine are no longer seen as opposing forces, but as complementary energies, working in concert to create a masterpiece. A silent epidemic is sweeping across our society. It's rarely discussed, often ignored, but its impact is devastating. It's the epidemic of fatherlessness. The numbers tell a chilling story. Millions of children are growing up without a father in their lives. They are deprived of a vital presence, a guiding hand, a source of strength and stability. The consequences are undeniable. Boys without fathers are more likely to drop out of school, end up in prison, and struggle with addiction. Girls are more likely to become teenage mothers, experience poverty, and face relationship challenges. This is a societal crisis, not just a family issue. We are failing our children and, in turn, failing ourselves. The time to act is now. A father's absence echoes through a child's life. It creates a void, a sense of incompleteness that can be difficult to overcome. Boys crave a father's guidance. They need someone to teach them what it means to be a man, to navigate the challenges of life, to channel their energy and emotions in a positive direction. Girls need their fathers too. They need to feel protected, valued, and loved unconditionally. A father's love helps a girl develop self-esteem, set healthy boundaries, and form strong relationships. Without a father figure, children are more likely to feel lost, insecure, and angry. They may struggle to form healthy attachments, make poor choices, and repeat the cycle of brokenness in their own lives. The good news is, it's not too late. We can rebuild. We can strengthen the bonds between fathers and their children. It starts with recognizing the vital role that fathers play. Fathers, be present, be engaged. Be the role model your children need. Show them love, guidance, and support. Teach your sons about responsibility, courage, and compassion. Teach your daughters about respect, self-worth, and healthy boundaries. Be the kind of man you want your children to admire and emulate. And to the men who didn't have a positive father figure in their own lives, seek out mentors. Join support groups, break the cycle of absentee fatherhood. Together we can create a world where every child has the love and support of a father. A world where families are strong, communities are vibrant, and the future is bright. The war on masculinity is real, but it's a war we can win. It starts with each man recognizing his own worth, his own strength, his own potential. Remember the legacy you carry, the generations of men who came before you, who built civilizations, fought for freedom, and provided for their families. Their blood flows in your veins, their spirit lives on in you. You are not weak, you are not toxic, you are not the problem, you are a man. And within you lies the seed of greatness. It's time to plant that seed, to nurture it with courage, discipline, and integrity, to watch it grow into something strong, resilient, and life-giving. This isn't about blaming others. It's not about turning back the clock. It's about building a better future for ourselves, our families, and our society. Join the movement of men who are reclaiming their true strength. Men who are committed to being the best versions of themselves. Men who are ready to lead, to protect, to provide. Be the change you want to see in the world. Start by being a better father, a better husband, a better brother, a better son. Be a mentor to a young man who needs guidance. The time for silence is over. Share this message with every man you know. Let the world know that true masculinity is back, and it's here to stay.